Wake up, wake up, wake up. Good morning, good people. I'm Motivational Choir, and this is Morning Motivation. I'm Motivational Choir, message of positive energy and motivation. Wake up, wake up, wake up! Welcome to the Wake Up, Wake Up, Wake Up podcast with Motivational Choir and my brother,
Sir Max.
Okay. So today we talking about
Me versus me.
me versus me,
Perspective.
C4, shout out to C4 again, little bro. Me versus me, again, is inspired by, Max, you wrote a poem today.
I wrote a poem for it.
Okay.
I was talking to C4. He asked me to write a poem for it, but I was kind of procrastinating, but I did write it.
Okay.
Well, I wrote it. I'll give you a snippet of it.
Okay. Let me get that.
So, like I said, this one is inspired by a poem in C4 as well, because he the one that actually came up with the idea. Y'all should go check his album out. It's pretty dope. What does it really mean when they say me versus me? Grab your shovel. We gotta dig through the surface, and it's gonna get a little deep. By the time I met the psychiatrist, I had already been through some psychotic shit. Life going round and round, back and forth, up and down, like dirty laundry. I was in a spin cycle of shit. You probably wouldn't notice it, cause I wear my pain with a grin, and this smile hides my frown, and these tattoos cover the wounds in my skin. My head secures a brain full of secrets, and my flesh shields a spirit of sin. You can only imagine the places I've gone and the people I've been. So when I say it's me versus me, I really mean it's me versus we. Because it's always me versus he, me versus him, me versus they, me versus them. Sometimes I feel like feminine energy and it's me versus she. I get a little emotional sometimes. I'm going to stop it there.
That's fire. That's fire. I told y'all, he got that shit. Yo, you real witty with the words.
Appreciate it. I get that from listening to all the music we listened to through the years.
That's a fact. Hey, but the way you craft it and take it and make it yours, and you know what I mean, turn it over, it's beautiful, man. You impress me every time with your poems. You know what I mean? And I'd be glad to be getting them firsthand. You know what I mean?
He definitely get them first.
You know what I mean? Real still.
Your opinion means a lot to me. That's why.
I appreciate it, brother. And yours mean a lot to me as well because, bro, like I learned so much from you. You know what I'm saying? Even now, you know what I'm saying? Like even now when I pull up, there's always something to be learned. Like you be dropping the game on me, and maybe that's because I respect your opinion and respect your your view on life and, the way you've been through things and the way we all been through things that I know about.
We got through things together.
Facts.
We've been through a lot of things together, so
facts.
It's like, we respect each other as an equal, I tell you all the time the things I respect about you.
That's a fact. And vice versa.
Businessman and shit like that. This one of the greatest businessmen. I really know. I can't wait till he hit his fucking prom, because when he hit his prom, it's gonna be fucking crazy.
Hello. Shout out to Bad Intentions Tattoos. My bad, I apologize.
No.
Shout out to Bad Intentions Tattoos. I gotta plug it. You know what I'm saying? 103 Broadway, and the second one, 674 Mount Prospect. Okay, but go on. I apologize for stopping you.
No, but that's one of the biggest things I respect. Cause I told you I watched when we was young, and you used to bargain with the corner store man for candy. So before I can't lie, I tell you this off camera.
No, that's a fact.
I used to think it was super petty that you didn't want to give him $1. You wanted to give him 95 or 85 cents or some shit. But as we got older, it became a real business practice, and you turned that into some real shit. Cause then we started going downtown shopping for clothes. It's like, nah, man, I ain't paying you this whole thing. We're gonna pay this, or I'm gonna take my business elsewhere.
That's right.
And it taught me a lot of shit. You feel me? Because in my mind, it stopped being petty and started being a strategy. And I'm like, and then I started to not envy it, but I'm like, nigga, you was stupid for not picking up on that when we was kids. So those one of the things I've always looked at you as like a fucking great businessman. And like I said, I can't wait till you hit your prom, because when you hit your prom and we get to it, oh man,
you gotta go through some shit to get to some shit, and I appreciate that because you know, even I understood young, it ain't about what you make, it's about what you save.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, long as if I'm giving you all of it, and you already hitting me over the head for it, you know what I'm saying? So, and you know, I guess I learned that from Ice. You know what I mean? Because I used to go shopping with him, and he used to do that to them. You know, shout out to Big Bro Ice. You know what I'm saying?
But nah, you was doing this when we was in the candy store.
Yeah, because again, I watched. You know what I mean? I was, you know,
Whatever you picked up,
right.
You did a fucking hell of a job learning.
I appreciate
not only learning it, but executing it. So
I appreciate
not only learning, but executing, doing it like, say, nah, well, this what it's gonna be. So that was some good shit.
Okay, so me versus me. What do you come up with when you think of that? Me versus me.
In the poem, you can hear that I say, before I met the psychiatrist, I had already been through some psychotic shit.
Facts. That was hard.
You know. So that being said, it's true. Most of the things that I put in my poems are true. I don't really put no fake stuff in my poem because I really consider them teaching.
Okay.
So I go off a lot of my own experience and things that I actually know. So before I went to psychiatrist, I started studying psychology because my upbringing, like I say, it wasn't that good, and I noticed the way I think, the way I do things, the things that make me tick. You know, I started to really notice that, but I knew it had to get deeper than that. You know, I knew that I had different characters in me because I know I'm not the same person that when I'm happy and when I'm upset. I ain't the same person. That's a whole different caliber of person that I had to build for those times that I got mad. I learned how to protect myself.
Facts.
You know? So before I seen the psychiatrist, I was already reading books on psychology because I wanted to learn for myself. Because first of all, let me say, I thought going to the psychiatrist was stupid. So I didn't want to go to the psychiatrist. So what I did was I was reading the books so I could learn my damn self what's going on, because I used to look in the mirror and I used to break down and tell myself yo, this is really how you are. This is the things you be doing, so you better watch it. So when I started reading about those characteristics in psychology, I'm like, this is why you do the things you do. So by the time I got to the psychiatrist, I had already self-diagnosed myself.
Gotcha.
And after some time that he spent with me, he was like, you was right about what you diagnosed yourself with. And I was like, I had to learn to understand that through my own self, because I needed to know that, because if I don't know myself, I'm gonna be fucked up. Yeah. You feel me? And that was my first time crying in front of a grown ass man. It's a fucking stranger.
Sometimes you gotta give it up.
Man.
Shout out to Auntie, to Princess. My Aunt Kathy, shit, that's my psychiatrist. I go give it up when I go sit with her sometimes. It come on out, you know what I'm saying? And it's a release, it's a good release. And man, when you was reading those books, I remember sometimes I used to say, yo man, I don't need no psychiatry. I need my brother. You know what I'm saying?
I remember those days.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember those. But
Real
then,
shit.
after doing that, after reading those books, it's like, I can't really reference nothing else.
Right.
Because this is the truth of the matter. This is I want to give you my emotional side.
Right.
But what's that's gonna help you?
Right.
You feel me? It's gonna validate your emotional feelings. And I can just give you I guess the psychology part of it was the answer to it. This how you do it. This how you do it. You feel me? So I remember those days. I need my brother right now. And I think I was so lost in that shit. I didn't even know who I was. I was a psychologist.
When you was just saying that shit clicked in my head. Yeah, I remember telling that nigga, man, I don't need no psychologist.
I need my brother.
I need my brother.
Those days.
You know what I'm saying?
But I was so stuck because you know what? You remember what I went through.
Facts.
So me going through that, at that moment, I was a fucking psychiatrist. And that's the only thing I really know how to be, because I kind of separated myself from everything else.
Right.
You know, but once I came back to myself, it was now I had to learn, okay, this is what it all boils down to. I had to learn how to regulate all the people inside of me.
Right.
You know, I had to understand that there's a higher being in myself that must control all the small things.
All parties.
You feel me? That emotional side that gets to me when I want to punch somebody in the face, I gotta say, or I want to pull my, you gotta, it has to be that superior being in yourself, think this through. But as a man, I had to understand that ain't the same person.
Right.
Those are all different people. Those times I sat in the corner and I cried, that wasn't me. that was the personality that I had inside of me. You feel me? Like all those things are different personalities, which are different people. So in essence, it's me versus we, because you better learn to control the masses that's inside of you, because you have a lot inside of you.
That makes sense. And you got to go through some shit to get to some shit. You understand what I'm saying?
That's definitely right.
So, yo, I salute you and I thank you and I appreciate you for going through what you went through, because it made it, much more easier for me when I was going through what I went through. You get what I'm saying? And we still growing, but we still glowing. You get what I'm saying? All right. So, okay, in your poem, you said, I need you to break that part down for me. Where you said, it's me versus we, me versus them, V versus.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? That was kind of deep, real deep right there.
So that's basically, okay, the premise of it is to say it's me versus we. So it's like, it's me versus them. Me versus they, me versus him, me versus he. And I say sometimes I get a little emotional, and it's me versus she.
Facts.
Because those are all different people. And like I said, you have to have sometimes. Okay, you have to have the superior one who just makes basically like the last fucking decision about what's
Final
going on.
call.
Final call. But then you got those sub ones in you too that they argue amongst each other. So you got, like, you ever have a problem and you be like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but then somebody else tell you, like, yo, then something in your mind tell you, like, bro, calm down, relax, da-da-da. Those two people in your fucking, they fighting each other.
Facts.
You feel me? Or they may not be fighting, but they kind of like, they trying to figure it out amongst each other. But those two different people, because one want to do one thing, the other want to do the other thing. So that can't be the same person. That can't be the same person. So the superior person got to be the one over them. Right. Or them. And sometimes we get a little emotional. I don't mean no disrespect women, but I equate emotions with women. So that's why I said sometimes I feel that feminine energy, and I feel it's me versus she. Because those nights I cried in the corner, I cried in my bed, which I have, I felt like a girl at those times. Because I'm like, man, probably shouldn't be crying. But don't get, and I don't mean no disrespect. It's just like we all have a feminine energy in us.
Facts.
And everybody has two sides, which is feminine and masculine. So sometimes I feel that, and it's like, I hurt. I'm a human, so I hurt sometimes, and I feel that feminine energy.
And you tapped into it.
And I tap into it.
That's hard right there. Yo, I take my hat off to you, brother, and continue keep going all the way through with the poetry, because, man, again, every time I see you perform it, I'm impressed.
Appreciate that.
Every time, real spill. So, okay, so I'm trying to think about what a me versus me mean to me.
Now, I wasn't just about to ask you that.
Man. I mean, I fight with myself a lot because I feel like I don't go. Prime example, when we was at the show, Wednesday, and the question came around, what do you regret?
Yeah.
And I said, I regret not going harder, but not going to my fullest potential.
Yeah, that's
like pretty much like holding myself back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I fight with myself about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I got it. I know why. I know I could do it. I know I'm capable of it, but I still kind of play with it. You know what I'm saying? I still play with my gift. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I believe the podcast situation, not to take it, twisting it, but the podcast space was designed for people like me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a personality. I know how to.
You definitely are a personality.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm me all day. You turn the camera off, it's still going to be saying the same shit, doing the same thing.
Same shit.
You get what I'm saying? So I fight with myself on that. So I'm working on that. So that's why we here on camera, and I be stirring about doing it. You be stirring, we both on each other. I'm on you about poetry, you on me about podcasting, and it's time for us to go. We bullshitted around with a lot of years, you know what I'm saying? Having fun. I was about to say some other shit, but I ain't gonna say that. That's some off camera shit.
Yeah, having some fun.
You know what I'm saying? And but now it's time to work. You know what I'm saying? We stepping into another phase of life where we get to actually leave our mark and leave a legacy. You know what I'm saying? And mainly when we record, because once we put this up in the air, in the clouds,
it's always gonna be there.
On our clouds, it's always gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? So and we do this because we try to hopefully somebody else get to tap in and they
piggyback off it.
And learn from it.
Learn from it and piggyback off it.
Yes.
Because you always want the information to be passed down.
Yes,
yes. I think that some of the things that we do are like timeless. Like Well, the things that the things that I like to do, I want it to be timeless stuff. I don't want it to be trendy because I want 10 years from now for what I talked about today to still be relevant.
It still connect.
You know, it's still relevant
to
the youth, to the older people, to the people my age. Even when I die, I kind of wanted to leave a legacy of when I die, like this was his words, just the shit that he said. You know, and I wanted to be like, even now, even 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, they're like, this shit right here is still relevant.
Tupac.
You feel me? This shit right here is still relevant because we talked about some shit that, number one, is like true and it resonates with like real people.
Real spill.
You know?
Real spill. So me versus me. So we're going on to transcend over into the next subject, and which was life. Oh no, perspective. Oh, perspective. I like perspective. You know what I mean? Because we could all be seeing the same thing, but get all different total views on it. You get what I'm saying? It's about what part you catch it at. You know what I mean? But I see things, and the way I view it, it should be from my point of view. But I don't see it. I try to see it for the reality of it, and I try to look at it from all stands. You get what I'm saying? Good, bad, and indifferent. You know what I'm saying? Because you could see, say you get a call. We got a lot of sisters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, say one of our sisters in a fight with her boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? The minute they call us, they just like, oh, what's the name? I'm fighting with him, but they ain't tell us what the fuck you did to make, you know what I'm saying? Oh, she slapped him, and then he punched her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I still gotta come fuck you up. But, you know, it don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's perspective on it.
Yeah, it is. And people always believe that their perspective is reality, which in some way it is.
Okay.
You know, in some ways your perspective is your reality because that's what you believe. But there's there's a real reality of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, it's just not like, hopefully your reality matches up with what's real.
Right.
You know, because there is a real reality. Some people really live in their reality, like how they think, feel, act is like the way people are supposed. You know how people say the world don't revolve around you.
Right.
Those are the type of people who only live in their reality, and they only believe what they believe to be true. When there's a real truth out here.
Is that because of the way they grew up, or you know what I'm saying, or what they seen?
It could be a thing of how they taught, what they grew up with. Like a lot of people grow up learning. For the most part, you learn from your parents at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, you start to learn from people you influenced by.
Facts.
You know, and you have to really consider who you allow to influence you, because their reality becomes yours because they're teaching you. And if their reality is what you're learning, whatever reality that you build in your mind, you're going to act in the physical.
Ooh.
So what you gotta be very careful about what you allow to build in your mind, because it's gonna play out. It has no choice but to play out. Whatever reality that you think in your mind, like say for instance, if you think your girl cheating and you got this feeling, whatever reality is playing in your mind is the reality that's gonna come out.
Right.
You feel me? You're gonna confront her about her cheating.
Even if she wasn't.
You're gonna confront her about it because your reality is there. Until your reality is pushed aside by something else that you like, oh no, this is true. Like maybe she say some things to be like, oh shit, I was wrong. What I thought was my reality was false. I just had it in my head. You know, like what they said, my mind playing tricks on me.
My mind playing tricks on me.
That's when your perspective is only yours and you ain't thinking about the whole truth. Like there's only one way for the tree to grow. You put the motherfucker in the ground and it start growing. And you know, it got to get watered, sunlight, and it has its way. People, you can't change it. That's just nature. And nature is the total truth of everything.
Love nature.
Nature is the total truth. So I try to look at nature when it comes to truthful shit. Because everything else is like a lot of shit that we learn. And a lot of times we learn from people with fucked up perspectives.
Yeah, and to not to piggyback, but to go into what you said as far as like watching the people, you know, their reality become your reality. You know how much I love Jay, you get what I'm saying? Shout out the whole, you know what I'm saying? And coming up, like I modeled myself at the helm. You know what I'm saying? Vacations and jury and you know what
Hustle,
I'm saying?
everything.
And at 33, I hit a fucking standstill because now when I understand, I didn't know who the fuck I was. As he started growing and, you know, going into the button-ups and, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, elevating in life because he's so much older than me, he started elevating in life and I was like stuck trying to still be, you know what I'm saying?
Because physically we was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But mentally we wasn't there because now that you say it,
Come with it.
he basically told us what to do.
Facts.
He didn't show us how he did it. So we couldn't grow as much.
Makes sense.
Because he's like, I'm just changing into the button up. You know,
Right.
you feel me? Like, he didn't show us the back part, the business side of how that shit really fucking worked. So we didn't. So when we started our label, we just tried to do what we thought was the right thing. We didn't have the backdoor knowledge that they had.
Makes sense.
You understand? So that was like we was only living the lyrics that he was spitting. We was in the strip club at fucking how old?
We got rid of the jerseys.
we had some button up. We had this what they call a Hawaii
Hawaii something.
We had the team. We had them.
Yeah, I had to rock the phone the right way.
Exactly. So we was.
What was that? My 16th birthday?
We was kids.
We had the limo. We was doing big boy shit.
That's what I'm saying.
We was doing big
that's why
boy
I say-
shit.
And that's why I say physically we was doing it.
Right.
But mentally we didn't know what we was doing. We only knew what they was telling us to do.
Right.
Go get the watch. Go get the chain, the sneakers, the hat. Do you still go do that?
Go get the wardrobe.
That's it.
Go get the uniform.
Exactly.
Go get the hustler uniform. You get what I'm saying? I started to put on the hustler uniform today, but I said no.
But
maybe next podcast we'll bring out the Jews for
Word is born. So that's basically what it was. Like we was living through their eyes of limited perception because we didn't even know what was going on back door.
Facts.
You understand? So you're absolutely right. We was living like them. Like I resonated so much with Pac coming up because I felt the struggle that he went through. You feel me? It really like the shit that he used to talk about. I was like, nigga, I went through that. Nigga, I was homeless. Like we was living in that shed. I was fucked up. My mom was fucked up. Like that shit's crazy. So I remember. So when he used to talk about all that struggle shit, like it
resonated.
Yeah, because I really went through that shit. I really went through sleeping on people's couches and floors and shit like that. Like as far as like coming up with mom. I've been to how many different schools? I've been to 10 schools. But by the time I was in 10th grade, I probably went to 12 schools.
Wow.
So
that's probably why we connected so hard. Because your life was like the total opposite of mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't say shelter, but it was,
No.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say my shit was shelter, but it was kind of like shelter. Not shelter. I was outside.
Yeah, no.
But you know what I'm saying?
You had a stable place.
You had a stable place.
You had a stable
foundation.
place. But and that's why we have different perspectives.
Correct.
And this is where it comes from. Because your mindset is one way because of what you saw, experienced, and my mind goes a certain way because of what I saw and experienced. And that's where your perspective comes from. It comes from your environment, who you learning from, who you allowing to. Because once you start being around a person, you're going to learn their thoughts. And either you're going to disagree or agree with what the fuck they got going on. Mm-hmm. And the more you're around them, the more you pick up. That's it.
The more you pick up.
That's
it. Without you even
knowing. That's your science. The science right there.
Damn, man, it's crazy because, like, as I got older, like, even like again, my 33, I'm 39 now, but 33 was it was an amazing year, but it was a hard year at the same time too. Only because I had everything. I had everything. I got fucking the most money at that point in time in my life. The car, the wife, the condo, the businesses, and I felt I wasn't as happy. You get what I'm saying? So my happiness was at a 5 when I should have been at a 15. I had everything. And I just wasn't as happy. So at that point in time, I started soul searching. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like what my reality was, it wasn't hitting. I felt it was supposed to.
You was depressed.
I guess I could say I'm comfortable with saying that now.
And no, I say depressed in the way that Jim Carrey said it. I've never heard nobody say it the way he said it. When he said depressed, I was like, that's a great way to say it. Like, your body is in a deep rest and it's tired of being the avatar that you've been.
Right.
You need to change.
You need to change.
Like, ooh.
That was some deep shit.
Ooh.
Shout out to Jim.
Word is born, because that was that weighed heavy on my soul.
That was deep.
Weighed, I was like, okay.
And that sound real special to like the definition.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Of what I was going through. Because man, it was just like that was it was some thing. I had to do some thinking and soul searching. And it still took me years to actually get it.
It came in the form of a reality check.
It came in the form of reality check.
Shout out to my man, I am New Age Hippie. That's a line from his poem.
Oh yeah.
That's a line from his poem.
Shout out to the New Age Hippie.
It came in the form of reality check. That was a dope line.
And that's some deep shit because man, you know, as you going through things and you really don't understand it, and at that point in time, I had nobody to talk to. I'm like, who the fuck do I call and talk to about this? Like, I don't know nobody that, I mean, I respected everybody's opinions, but like nobody, there was a lot of people in way better positions or the same position that I was in, but some of them I just didn't trust their judgment, you get what I'm saying? Because they wasn't at the stage in life that I was in. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to grow. I'm married now at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole lot. It was like a whole lot going on, and I was just growing through it. You know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful. It's beautiful now. It's beautiful now because I'm up out of it, and I feel like I just went through another part of that again.
It don't stop.
It don't stop.
It don't stop. We in a journey of life is gonna be ups and downs all the time. You just gotta know how to weather the storm when shit is down.
Facts.
And that's what I always tell you. That's why I feel like you've always been on top of your life, because you've always weathered the bad storms with such grace. It's always been ridiculous since we was kids. You feel me? And that's why I think that you've always been at the top of your life, even through your bad times. You feel me? Your bad times was a lot of people's great times.
Facts.
You feel me? So in the laws of nature, it tells you that, you know, the law of rhythm, meaning how bad it could get, that's how good it could get. The only difference is you gotta use law over law. So now you have to use the law of positivity. So when those times are bad and you just gotta know they're gonna be bad, you gotta be like, because I remember you telling me, shit bad, but man, I'm gonna pimp through this shit. You have to have that. That's right. You have to have that attitude, and if you don't have that attitude, you'll get stuck in that dark place for a longer time than you should have, because you had a negative attitude about it instead of having a positive attitude about it.
That's a fact. And I forgot who said this quote, but it wasn't Jim Carrey, where he said, "This too shall pass." Who said that?
Oh man, that's an old. That's
that's
in the Bible.
Is it in the Bible?
That's in the Bible.
Okay. Well, shout out to God.
That's in the Bible. This too shall pass. And
this too shall pass.
Everything. And that's the thing. Everything passes. Excitement passes. Joy passes. Sadness passes. Depression passes. It all goes up and down.
That's right. I ain't about to sit here and wallow in my. I mean, even when it's good time, I'm gonna celebrate it. But even in the bad times, I'm gonna celebrate it because I'm not about to wallow in the sorrow.
And that's your perspective.
Yes.
Like, even in the bad times, I'm gonna have a good time.
That's right.
Fuck it. It may not have been as a good of time as if I was in the good, but I'm gonna have a good time.
That's right. Because it could be worse.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
It could be fucking worse.
Like, bottom line, it could be worse. So yeah, that's perspective, and you know, I value your perspective on life, because every time that I speak to you, like when we talk and just having our big brother, little brother talk, like I grow. You get what I'm saying?